Long time no see, guys. I'm sorry I've been a bit MIA. I've just been super busy with some real life stuff, but I did want to make sure that I provided you with something that was quite a bit useful for me. So long story short, if you didn't know, the TEPPEN Trial Cup actually wrapped up this past week, and it allowed people of all ranks to compete for some prizes, namely for champion and A rank players. That was $2,000. But since I hadn't been playing for a while, I actually dropped down to B rank. So I entered in the B rank division and I won that division. So I wanted to show you a deck that actually ended up doing a lot of work for me in the bracket, and that's this deck right here. This uses Ami or Amaterasu, the newest hero for TEPPEN, who I haven't really talked about all that much. So you've probably seen decks similar to this on the Discord if you are a member, and if you aren't, you should be. I can't remember exactly where I pulled this from, but I'm sure some fantastic person shared it along the way. So what we have here are some cards that have been around for a while. Chill Penguin, Rashid, the core BB Hood, Sheva is a somewhat recent addition, but she's pretty good, and then Trust Amid Suspicion. This deck primarily focuses on dealing some direct damage and having quite a bit of growth synergy along the way. We've also got the legendary Lady here because she synergizes well with humans, and we have quite a few of those here, including Yusun and Takeda here. We have one copy of Rescuer's Bullet to get a key unit out of the way if necessary, and then a Friendly Feud copy there as well, which works fantastically on Rashid if you're in that situation. Rogi here is able to soak up damage and get a little bit bigger, and he can come up with some optimal trades. The legendary Ken is human. He synergizes well with this, but the two biggest cards that I wanted to take time to talk about really quick before I show you some matches, that would be the legendary Amaterasu, which is Sun Goddess Ami. So she's a 3-cost 1/3 with growth 3, and at level 2 she gains some stats, level 3 she deals some damage, level 4 she gives all friendly units some stats, and then level 5 she gets more stats, agility, veil, and she becomes indestructible. This is one of the best cards to come out of her expansion here within the last month or so. The other one is definitely just Sun Goddess. This is a legendary action. It's 3 costs. It says if your hero is red, and it is, then they gain reduce all damage your friendly units take by 1, and increase all the damage the enemy units take by 1 for 25 seconds. So this has a lot of value, especially for this deck. I don't believe it is the best possible deck that you can make at the moment, but it definitely did a lot of work for me in the bracket. So I'm going to show you the 3 games that I played in the finals against level 3 X Factor. His name's Kevin. He's an awesome guy, and I really enjoyed playing against him. So let's get to the matches. The rules for this were pretty simple. The winner was forced to stay on with the deck of their choosing. The loser had the option to switch, almost a bit of counter-picking technology. But for this set, it is best out of 5. All rounds were best out of 5, single elimination. And so what ended up happening here was I ended up playing all of my games with this Amaterasu deck, and Kevin used a variation of a Yawn build all the way through. So this is going to be 3 Ami versus Yawn matchups. And Yawn is definitely capable. If you haven't seen, Iowa was able to take that. I think he was just shy of top 10 with that deck. Very capable in the current state of the game. So right away, I'm going to start with Rashid. Rashid's a great starter because he sets up for some crazy damage and some potential combo. I throw down Takeda here to go ahead and clear this feline. I don't want him ramping too much because the way that Yawn ends up becoming so rampant is it just has so much MP that it becomes too difficult for you to overcome. And cards like Natural Cycle, which allow you to basically reset your deck, give the deck a lot of longevity. It's able to hang in there and, you know, produce for a lot longer than a lot of other decks can. So the scariest thing on this board right now is the Nero, and he attempts to shield the Trust Amid Suspicion, but I've got to. I would like to get the trade. I bank on him not having more than 1 shield. Starting with that Trust Amid Suspicion is kind of risky, but it ended up working out for us in the end. We get rid of that Nero. We lose our top Rashid, but he had already leveled up. He had done his job. So we drop another Rashid up top. That puts Takeda at his max level, but he's kind of hanging on there with last legs. He drops the Yawn on the Nero, which is the right thing to do. The Nero is kind of soft at the moment. It's going to die, as you can see by me dropping another Rashid. So we're going to hold on to our hero art here because it is AoE. It does a lot of healing. It does a lot of damage. It's a hero art that is really maximized dependent on your board state. So it's not something we want to just use frivolously. So I dropped BB Hood here, and that may have ended up being too much damage, but I really wanted to get rid of that Cami, because legendary Cami can be pretty powerful even without that full memory threshold. So I soften up this Karin because we're in pretty good shape here. He opts to seal the BB Hood, which I think was a mistake. The seal should have definitely gone on the bottom Rashid here, because as you can see, I'm going to go to beef him up, but then he throws out the seal. But the issue here is that seal triggers first. So the rest of those extra buffs are going on top of Rashid. Sure, he loses his growth potential, but he's be able to chew away for a lot of damage. Plus he's got agility. So Kevin here is on his last legs, and we ended up taking this first match. Second match, same matchup. Again, we're going to be going for kind of similar starting hands here if we can get them. So we have two Rashids and a Ken. Rescuer's Bullet, Liberating Slash is pretty decent, so we hang on to it. More than likely, we're going to be setting up with Rashid first. Dropping Ken this early, unless it's for a big payoff with his level 2 for that direct damage, is really, really risky, especially against green. And he's already proven that he's got multiple copies of Seal in his deck. We'd more than likely just be putting ourselves in a situation where we're going to be dealing with that. So I end up going with the double Rashid here to pop a shield. And then we go to Chain of Fist to see if we can clear this other shield, and we actually do get lucky with the targeting, and we do get rid of that other shield. So now we can either set up for a Rogi, or we can wait it out and put a Ken down. He puts out a beefed up Nero, but I think Rogi is better, because Rogi is able to really maximize his ability up against this layer here, because she's only chipping away for 1, which is going to be making Rogi more powerful, and now instead of a 1/7, he's a 4/4. So that is something he is going to have to deal with. We drew into Sheva, but unless Ken is on the board, we're not going to be able to get value from her, because we have to have a human of 5 MP cost or more. So we throw down the Ken, which is super, super risky, and you'll see why, because the seal can definitely come up. But we're in a decent spot because we have Rescuer's Bullet. And it is worth doing for Ken. I sit here and I ponder it a bit, but I end up deciding to go with Sun Goddess instead. Probably would have been better to use Rescuer's Bullet in that situation, but we're not completely out of the woods here just yet, because even though Ken is sealed now, if we use Rescuer's Bullet at a later time, we will still be able to get him back into our hand. So he goes to shield this layer to keep her around a little bit longer, and perhaps a bit prematurely on my part, I go ahead and opt for the Rescuer's Bullet to clear it out. I was fearing, a lot of ramp. We're down a little bit on HP here, and he's got a Yawn on deck. And my goal is to play fast enough, and of course make correct plays, to make it so it's going to be really difficult for him to put Yawn on those key units, because that's where Yawn really thrives, is just being hyper efficient and having tons and tons of resources to play whatever you want. So we're trying to keep him away from being able to do that. So he sits there and he's waiting for me to do something. So I decide we're going to go ahead and throw out the Ken. We throw out the Sheva because she triggers off of Ken. It's a bit more damage than we needed. Probably would have been better off just playing something like Sun, but it is what it is. We did what we did. So then we throw out the other BB Hood, and then Ken is going to get sealed again. That's fine. At this point, we want Ken to die anyway because we are board locked, which for red is going to really hinder our potential, so we want Ken to go away if we can manage it. So the feline here is about to drop to the Sheva. We've got 2 hurting units, and out comes the Rainy Turtloid. Now notice he's got 2 uses of Yawn here. He's been really hesitant to use it, and this is actually something that Kevin and I talked a little bit about after the match, because he's a terrific guy and we had some fantastic conversations. Just the hesitance here to put the Yawn down in a situation where the damage is random and it's coming out quite frequently. There are instances like here that Rainy Turtloid on the bottom would have been a perfect target to be yawned, so he could get some bonus MP back. That Nero up top, a 3/7, going up against the 2/8 BB Hood, it's not really that big of a deal. We're gonna chip most of that Nero's health away as we go. Plus we have a Rashid who is unleveled. Now something's gonna have to die first, but it will definitely be that BB Hood. And notice the life gap here, the gap in health has become much, much wider. And Rogi is down there leveling up. We go for the Sun to give the Rashid a level. And now another seal comes out on the Rashid, which is probably the correct play here to get rid of that combo, because otherwise he would have just chewed him down to 2. So the yawn finally comes out on this newer copy of Feline, and he's still got another usage of it. He's going to get bonus MP, and he's going to have to put blockers down really quick. Legendary Karin comes out, but that's probably not going to be fast enough because we have 2 units that are already swinging. Timing comes out here to give himself a little bit more health with the sibling memories. Can't really do anything about it. There's no real reason to use Liberating Slash here, so we're just going to kind of let it go. We drop another Rogi. He's going to make use of Yawn again, and that Karin is going to die on this trade here, but we have chewed through so much of that health that more than likely he's not going to have enough time to put blockers down, and he doesn't. So we end up going up in this final round of the tournament, the set, going up 2-0. So the final match of the set, again, the same matchup here. We're going to be looking to similar starts to what we've had in the first 2 games because they worked out pretty well for us. We started with Chill Penguin and Rashid. Gives us a couple of options here. I'm betting, and in this moment I thought this too, since he was kind of hesitant to start playing first and that he wanted me to do something first, you know, having Chill Penguin there gives us the ability to drop him first and then Rashid second, so we're not wasting a proc of that Rashid damage. Liberating Slash, Chain of Fists, Sun Goddess can be super helpful. He seals the Rashid, which I think is the correct play. I think Rashid can be a lot more troublesome in some situations, and then he ascends into the Rainy Turtloid, which is the right thing to do. A big beefy blocker, which is going to be able to soften up this Rashid quite a bit. So I throw down Lady because at the time, I probably should have thrown down a Rogi, but I was hoping that I'd be able to draw into some humans, and we did get the Chill Penguin proc out as well, but we didn't draw into any humans. Well, in this moment we did by using Chain of Fist. We drew into Isun. Now, Chill Penguin is already max leveled, so we won't get the benefit of throwing him down and leveling him up anymore, but we did get a proc from Lady. Now, the Chill Penguin gets sealed, but that's a waste because Chill Penguin's already done his job. He was already max level. And out comes Bamboo Pandemonium. So, in an effort to get some more value out of my Chill Penguin, I'm going to use Rescuer's Bullet here, which pulls the unit off of the field into your EX pocket and deals some damage spread out. Gets rid of that seal. Now, here's the thing about Pandemonium. If you don't know, he's a big beefy unit for a cheap cost, but his problem is that he reduces your MP boost by 30%. So at this point, it's really crippling. So even though the Lady dies, I'm not in any sort of hurry to get this most optimal trade, especially because he put a yawn on it. But he's going to take care of that himself by ascending into a Rainy Turtloid, which is definitely the right thing to do. Legendary Cami comes out. I fill the board with a Chill Penguin, and then we use our Hero Art to soften them up a bit, and we're in decent shape here. The spillover kind of hurts. And he opts to seal the Chill Penguin before I can get the final effect, which would be more damage, which is smart. So I ponder what I'm going to do here. And even though he's at 19, I do want to get rid of this Cami because I don't want to deal with it. And the Rainy Turtloid is not long for this world anyway. So I Liberating Slash the Cami, puts him back up to 28, but I'm confident that we'll be able to chew through that health. In the moment, I was confident. So now we drew into Ken. We've got a Rashid, a Rogi, a Chill Penguin, and then we have Sun Goddess. So we have some options here. Chill Penguin, he's still kind of a big body from where he got hit by our Hero Art. He drops 2 felines, so now he's ramping, and he's close to a Yawn proc, and we've got tons of MP. So we're going to throw down Rashid. Rashid's got great value for a kind of deck like this, a really solid unit, and he throws down the Yawn. You'll notice in this match he's a lot more responsive on his Yawns to make sure he's getting that value, and then the layer up top and the Nero comes down on the bottom, 3/7 Nero. So with the full board and lots of MP, we decide to use Sun Goddess to put that effect down, which will make us a little more potent. Now we're expecting the Rashid is unfortunately going to kick the bucket here. Not anything we can do about it. And then the Sun in the middle goes away, but we got tons of MP. So Ken comes down, Sheva comes down. That's a lot of damage. And now we have board control and a Hero Art on deck for when something finally gets dropped. So that's a pretty immediate flip of a situation there. We weren't in super dire straits, but it does open up his board to make us a lot more dangerous. And he's in the single digits now. So the pressure is really on him to act. He gets that layer down just in time and throws the yawn down there for the extra MP when it inevitably kicks the bucket. Now what you're going to notice I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate my hero art just before that attack line comes in. That's really going to put a very small window that he would be able to put a blocker down, and you'll see that is enough to close out the match of this set for me to win the B and C rank of the TEPPEN Trial Cup. Shoutouts to Gung Ho for putting on this fantastic event. It was a lot of fun. I know a lot of other people that have competed have really enjoyed it as well, and they say this is just the beginning. So hopefully there will be more events for us all to participate in. I love you guys. I'm so sorry I haven't been around as much. You can catch me a little more frequently. Sometimes I stream late at night on Twitch. That's Stout_Helm on Twitch. You should go follow me there. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Wear your mask, and I'll see you next time.